Hi everyone, today let's talk about AMD earnings. Do me a quick favor and like and subscribe and watch the video till the end to help out the channel, and let's get started. So AMD said that they are going to sell $4 billion in AI chips. This is approximately $1 billion less than was forecasted. You can see they have about $5.7 billion in current sales for this quarter, which is 6% growth. And on the back of this, you can see the stock is dropping 7%, over 7% after hours. And that is terrible here for AMD. So this company has had a massive run. They're still up a lot from not that long ago, but really the stock has crumbled quite a bit. And this is another pretty significant drop of 7%. Earnings per share did beat by 1 penny. Revenues also beat by $100 million. They also mentioned that net income is supposed to be $123 million versus a net loss of $139 million during the same quarter last year. So that is strong growth. And they do mention, again, AMD is up quite a bit, 14% in 2024, but it has been a bumpy ride, and we'll definitely take a look at the charts. And I still think this company has a strong growth trajectory. Moving over to the charts, looking at the monthly view, you can see it's been basically straight up for a long time. The bottom was here in September of 2015, rallied all the way up to the high in November of 21, and then it's been basically sideways choppy price action. Did make a slightly higher high on this most recent high in March and April, but now we're right back into the same range that we were here in December of 21. So the growth is slowing, but it still had a very strong run. You can see the low in October of 22, rallying all the way up to around $227 on that March high, and now we're seeing momentum roll to bearish here. So definitely a shift in conditions on the monthly chart, and this could absolutely bring much lower lows set to come. Extending out that trend line here, your next support would be at the high here from June, which would be down around that 120 area. If you're a longer term buy and hold investor, I wouldn't really be looking at this until you get into that zone. And then looking at the weekly chart, we might see a little bit of a pullback. You can see it's been that strong dip. Momentum is fading here. We did get a week of bullishness, 7.37%. But we have given all of that back in the after hours price action. You can see it here, pre-market, we're at 147, just right back down at these previous lows. We'll take a look at that on the shorter time frames, but right now, looks okay, probably pulling back into the middle of this week. And similarly to what we've been talking about on all of the other charts, if you watch my daily content, getting into this 21 and VWAP zone, that's where we're starting to see rejections across almost all of the major stocks, a lot of major indices rejecting off of this area, and this is no exception. We're right back here at these previous lows like I talked about. Let's look at the 12-hour, and you can see that here. So that 144.93 level is the current support. On the 12-hour though, below all of the EMAs and SMAs, momentum rolling to bearish, RSI looking not great. You do have some divergence. So the low on RSI was here on mid-April, and now here at the beginning of May, we're at that same level with a higher RSI read. So maybe this is a retest of the zone. We get some buying here. It's possible. I'd be patient, wait to see if this zone breaks. Could go to a lower low. If it does, 139.94 would be your next level. And then looking at the 4-hour chart, pretty much the same thesis, well below all the EMAs and SMAs. These are starting to curve down to bearish, so that's definitely concerning. Not something we see on AMD that often. You can also see kind of a left shoulder, big head formation. The right shoulder was quite feeble, and now this is breaking down. Your neckline would have been here at around 162.65. Now that has broken pretty clearly, and it seems like this is headed lower. And then again, you can see that trend consolidation around that 124 area, and everything looks quite bearish here on AMD. Moving over to the Tasty charts, you can see that same move high, big wick rejection, way overthrowing that upper ATR. And you can see every time you do that, you do see a pretty decent pullback. Took a minute here, overthrew it in January, pulled back sideways, and then got a big wick high. But now we're falling back into the middle of the range. We are technically below it here. And you can see that ATR trailing stop at 134.25. Momentum bearish, and you can see there's really been no volume, so this is continuing to fall. Your next EMA would be the 55 EMA at 137.70, right in that same zone. And then if that breaks 124.76, right on top of that previous zone that we talked about, that would be your 89 EMA. And then looking at the daily chart, continuing to fall. That lower ATR band would be the 139 zone. That would be your short-term low expected for a potential short-term bounce. But again, you can see this is trending lower pretty consistently. You would expect it to get there. And then looking at that 4 4-hour chart looks quite bearish. Had a feeble bounce, rejected cleanly off of that 89 EMA, took out the ATR stops. We had slight bullish conditions there for a moment, but now we're back into bearish conditions. You would expect this to grind lower, might see a short pullback in time, and then you would expect that breakdown based on all of these charts. Moving over to the options, you can see pre-earnings, we could get all the way down to 143 for about $1. And obviously we didn't get anywhere near that 143 area for $1, so definitely would have been a decent trade. Even at the 147s, could have got a $2, and we're still trading above that, so decent options there. This is still for the Friday expiration, so it could absolutely go lower, but keep in mind these options have not adjusted to price. You can see right here they're in that 157 area. You could get all the way down to 137 for $1 for just a couple of weeks out. So if this shifts down to 147, this would shift down a couple of dollars here too, down to that 130 area. You could probably get the 125s for $1 for a couple of weeks from now, and that would give you that medium term support area that we talked about on the weekly charts, and definitely a better buying opportunity here for AMD. Or you could be patient and wait and see if it dips into that area, and then you could sell some at the monies for a richer premium. Either way here, I would be patient. I do think it's set to go lower, and all of the technicals do confirm that. Let me know down in the comments section what you think of AMD post earnings. We did talk about this stock a little bit before, and it still looked terrible then, and now it looks even more terrible in my opinion. But what do you think? Definitely like and subscribe if you got any value to this video, and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Of course, none of this is financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. Good luck in your trading and have a great day.